levels. And so he is saying that this needs to be stayed, and that is a federal constitutional issue mostly because of the presidential immunity arguments brought up.
Actually, as a matter of law, what do you think these Supreme Court justices will do, knowing how they've ruled in the past? They haven't ruled on this specific issue, but they've had, you've had time to know what these justices are like. What do you think they're going to do?
It's always difficult whenever anyone wants a ruling. I always say my crystal ball is in the shop, but it is an interesting issue about whether or not a stay is necessary here. There is a right to challenge, as is cited in several of the moving papers, challenge under a presidential immunity argument pre-trial. But we're no longer pre-trial. We are post-trial pre-sentencing. And the court, the state court, has given a very clear indication that they have no intention of imposing anything that would interfere with presidential duties, that there wouldn't be any jail time, that this would be a kind of sentence that is just an entry of conviction rather than, imposing any limitations. So the question then becomes whether or not the Supreme Court sees a harm that could occur if this stay is not granted, because most appeals require that the case be completed, that if trial has already occurred, that then sentencing is done and the final convictions are entered. So because a stay is based upon preventing harm that only the stay can prevent, the question will be whether or not the Supreme Court sees that.
Right.
And whether or not this... Oh, I apologize.
No, I was going to jump in because we're coming to the end of the interview, but I want to ask you one more thing. Other than the embarrassment, I guess, of President-elect Trump having this conviction on his record, you already said he's not going to serve jail time. Nothing really is going to happen, is it? Is he going to have any penalty at all?
I don't believe so. I believe the court's been very clear that they just want to get these convictions entered, which will not remove his appellate rights at all. So I don't believe that there is a harm that this stay needs to prevent.
Ashley Bargenquast, an attorney with Tully & Wise, thank you so much for your insight, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, coming up on Mornings on 2 to 9, remembering